Welcome to John, your daily sports hub, where we plunge into the sports world. We are a sports pipeline for breaking news, game recaps, and the hottest take in the sports industry. So while you're taking care of business, let us flush out the details and fill you in on what's happening. So take a seat, get comfortable, and make sure you have plenty of TP. It's time to explode the commode. I'm your host, John, and today we're doing our March Madness special. Now, obviously, March Madness is longer than 1 week, so throughout these coming episodes, there'll probably be sprinkles of March Madness, maybe even a few once we get to the National Championship and Final Four weekend, where I'll kind of do just focus on March Madness, but there's going to be some March Madness talks coming up. But this episode specifically, I want to talk about March Madness just as a whole, because, you know, the first week is the most exciting week, but that kind of leads me perfectly into my first segment. It's March. I love watching college basketball. You know, if you guys know anything about me, you know I love sports. You know I love college basketball. When I was watching the round of 64, I had 3 games on, two on each computer. I had 2 computers with me and my TV. I had all games on. I was watching all the games, but overall, it was a very kind of disappointing round. You know, we had a few underseeded, or not underseeded, but like upsets, but I wouldn't even call them upsets because I expected Drake to win. I expected Colorado State to win. I mean, I guess the McNeese one was a surprise, but other than that, there were not a lot of crazy upsets in this tournament, which is, you know, disappointing in a sense because we watch March. We expect the madness. We expect the madness, and there has not been any. There were. I have some close games, you know. UC San Diego almost came back. UC Wilmington almost beat Texas Tech. Yale, was in the game but never really in it. And then Vanderbilt. But I picked Vanderbilt. I thought they were going to beat St. Mary's, and they were up basically the whole game, and they blew it. I don't know how they did it, but they did blow it. And the only 2 kind of teams that were really, like, dominant through this were, like, as the underseeds, were McNeese, Colorado State, and who was the other one? Why am I blanking on this? I don't know. Oh, Drake. Who, by the way, Ben McCollum just got hired at Iowa, so that's big for my Bradley fandom. You know, we don't have to see him anymore. But it hurts my Illinois fandom. But whatever. That's off topic. McNeese was dominant. They gave up 13 points in the first half, and they almost lost, too, which is crazy. I didn't think they were going to beat Purdue, considering that they blew a 20-point lead in the second half. So I didn't think everyone wants them to because, you know, the manager, Amir Orach Khan, and his whole Under Armour jumpsuit, taking pictures with Spike Lee and all that. The Will Wade story, you know, it's a great story, but they weren't going to beat Purdue. There was no shot. And UC San Diego, I wish they won. My guy, Aniwa Tate Jones, was a little bit underwhelming in that game, but Tyler Magai, I think, stepped up in a big way, and they were literal seconds away from winning that game. And I think the difference in that one was just the height. So, but I kind of want to talk now, you know, when I was doing my research for this tournament, this is the first tournament, and this is kind of crazy. This is almost, 18 years now? Since 2007, this is the first tournament without a double-digit seed in the Sweet 16. That is mind-boggling. I feel like we are kind of gifted with, like, expecting a double-digit seed to make it to the Sweet 16 or Elite 8 or something like that, and we didn't see it this year, and I think it's the transfer portal. It's the NIL. It's all of it. Because if you have these mid-majors, you're starting to leave them now. Because you have a guy on, let's say, a Bradley, who's averaging 20 points a game. What you're telling him, he's not going to – why would he stay here for 4 years? He can go to a bigger school and get, you know, $1 million, $2 million. So the NIL is, I think, going to slowly start to bring an end to this sort of March Madness. But the reason why people are going to still watch is sports betting. They're going to still put money. They're going to watch all the games. So that's what I think, is that I think this is going to be a very common theme in the coming years that we're not going to have many double-digit seeds go past the second round just because of NIL, and all their good players will leave them. So let me know what you guys think about that in the comments. Do you think that the NIL money is messing with the sort of March Madness theme of the whole tournament? And then I want to really focus on my Illinois Illini. We ended our season last night, and it left a lot to be desired. The fact that we were in that game was just mind-boggling to me, considering we shot 28% from three. We had 14 turnovers against. They were saying that Kentucky, they don't force turnovers, and we were making terrible passes. And Kentucky only had 5 turnovers. So you can't win the game if you turn the ball over 14 times and shoot 28% from three. We turned the ball over 14 times against Xavier, but we shot 40% from three. So there's something there. And we obviously out-rebounded them. But the big kind of reason I think they lost this game was the start of the second half. Kentucky shooting 9 of 10 to start the half is absolutely insane, and I think that was the kind of the blowout punch, sort of, or knockout punch. Sorry, it put Illinois in I think they were 15 or 16 point deficit, and they got within I think 6 or 8 maybe, and they were never able to sort of get back within 5, which is where they ended the half at, just because of that start. And after they started 9 of 10, they didn't shoot particularly well. I mean, Kobe Brea had a great start too, but I really think it was just the start of the second half that really broke us. And, Yakin Jonas was pretty bad. Well, bad for his standards. Thomas Slavovicic was good. And Kylan Boswell was the star of this tournament run for Illinois. It wasn't really a run. It was more of a win and then some, but he was he showed he was the best player on the floor for Illinois, and we saw that in the game when Underwood gave the ball to Boswell instead of Yakin Jonas, which throughout the whole season it was usually going to Yakin Jonas. So, it's exciting. I didn't expect them to go far, so I'm not too mad. Now, if this was the Illinois team from last year, I would be mad, but I didn't expect us to go far. We were really young, so we'll see. I mean, we have a lot of guys who might go to the draft, so we'll see. This will be a very exciting offseason for my Illini, but yeah, it was just a disappointing game last night. But I'm not, sad about it because I didn't expect us. I think I had us winning that game and then losing to Tennessee. So, it's okay. Now I just enjoy it from a non-fan perspective, which I think is better for my health because I go crazy watching the games. But I want to talk about specifically the round of 32. Their queen is I'm speechless, and the shot happened 12 hours whatever 10 hours ago, whatever. Not only is he a freshman in college, not only is he in the biggest game of his life, the biggest moment of his life, he walks into the huddle, says, "Give me that MFing ball," shoots it, and it's not like it's on, it's a, simple shot. It's a one-legged fadeaway off the glass in to win. I mean, that's a great way to end it. That's why I say this tournament was kind of 50-50. We're like, yeah, we don't get our upsets, but we get these great games, and I'll talk about this game later, but the UConn-Florida game, yeah, they're 2 blue bloods, but it was an amazing game. Same with that Colorado State-Maryland. They might not be blue bloods, but that was a great, great game. The fact that he was able, and it just shows his confidence, Derek Queen's confidence, that he comes into the huddle and says, "Give me the ball. I want to shoot this. I want to win the game. I want to put the team on my back." And also, he misses that shot. They lose that game, and their season's over. So the confidence level for him is insane. Now, this Florida matchup for Maryland is going to be a very interesting one because of how dominant Maryland's starting 5 is compared to how I don't want to say non-dominant, but how deep Florida is. Florida has a bunch of players coming off the bench that contribute, and they're led by obviously Walter Clayton, who took over that UConn-Florida game, which is what we'll talk about now. UConn was shockingly in this game. I think they played it like amazing defensively. Dan Hurley had an amazing game plan. They executed it perfectly, and it just Walter Clayton. I don't know what else to say. The threes and that he hit, they were contested 3-pointers, fading. One of them in the corner were insane. You can't. It's like you put your hand up, you do everything you can, and he still makes it. You can't control that. St. John's lost to Calipari and Arkansas, who started off 0-5 in SEC play. They were awful in the beginning of the year, and now all of a sudden they are in the Sweet 16 still dancing. Now they have, I would say, I would probably say the second hardest behind Auburn, probably. I think they're playing Houston, if I'm not mistaken. I may be wrong, so don't fact check me or don't quote me on this. But no, Arkansas is a really great team. We knew coming in this year, what does Calipari do? He brings in talent. He recruits. That's his whole mantra. That was his mantra with Kentucky. He had a bunch of 5-stars. His teams were all stars, all 5-stars, all All-Americans. He brings in the talent. It's just, can they play together? And now we're starting to see his team starting to really pick up that flow, really start to learn to play with each other and start to win together, learn how to play together. There's a lot of ISO now. Now these 5-stars are learning to play together, and I think they're scary. A 10 seed for them, because of their record, is a scary thing for teams. And I know, we're in the Sweet 16, so they're going to start facing, good teams. But if I'm a good team, I see a 10 seed Arkansas, I'm scared. I'm really scared. Iowa State, I think a lot of it has to do with them losing Keyshawn Gilbert, but Ole Miss destroyed them. Arizona won the Pac-12 After Dark rematch, which was a very good game. I was kind of surprised with how close it was. I thought Arizona was going to beat them by a little more. It doesn't matter. They're going to lose to Duke. Duke is just Duke. I'm not even going to talk about Duke because, we know they're going to win. You know what I mean? You beat Baylor by 20, Baylor's a great team. They had a bunch of talent on that team, and Duke just ran through them by 20. So I think they're going to beat Arizona. No matter who won that game, they were going to lose to Duke no matter what. I think they still will. And then my final game I really want to talk about is the Houston-Gonzaga game. It was an amazing game. It sucked that one team had to lose because Gonzaga, I was really high on them. I actually had them beating Houston in that round of 32 matchup because of just, one, I think Gonzaga got underseeded, and I still believe that. But two, they have tournament experience. Mark Few is one of the best coaches in the country. They had the best point guard, or arguably the best point guard in the country, in Andrew Nemhard, Graham Ike, Braden Huff, all of these guys battle. So it was an amazing game. It sucks that someone had to win, because if that was a Sweet 16 matchup, I would have been chilling with my feet up. I would have loved it. It was still an amazing watch, an amazing game. Also, Wisconsin lost to BYU, and I don't know how. I was looking at the stats. They won the turnover battle. I think they lost the rebound battle by 5, but they shot better from the field. They didn't commit as many fouls. They got more shots at the free throw line. I don't know how. Tanjay had 37. I genuinely do not know how the Wisconsin Badgers managed to lose that game, but they did. And Kevin Young is building a dynasty at BYU. You heard it here first. So next year when they're amazing, I want credit, because this year no one has expected them to do anything. I've been watching them. I haven't really been like, oh, they're going to be amazing, but I've been keeping an eye out on them, and they're dancing, and they have a legitimate shot to make a run to the Final Four. I really do think that. I think they don't really have that sort of scorer. They have a very well-rounded team. Igor Demin is going to be a top 5 pick in the upcoming draft, or top 10. I would say top 10. And he's kind of like their go. He's a 6'9" guard. You don't see that a lot. So they're a very interesting team, but overall, an amazing first weekend. Just kind of sucks that there's no sort of Cinderella story. I guess Cinderella story is Arkansas, but even then, going into the season, everyone believed in them and thought that they were going to win the SEC, honestly. I didn't think Auburn was going to be this great, but they were. So that's all I have for this episode of the John, Your Daily Sports Dump.
Don't nobody go in the bathroom for about 35, 45 minutes. Somebody open the window.